the final game, a journey that started 4 months ago, hundreds of games ago, comes down to one game. It is Monday. It is 7:30 Eastern time on all of the networks of ESPN and ESPN Plus and ABC and basically I think anything the Disney ESPN world touches is going to be covering this game. It is from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. It is the number 7 seed Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They are 14-1. They take on the number 8 seed Ohio State Buckeyes, 13-2. Ohio State, it opened at 9.5. It has come down to 8 as of now, an 8-point favorite. Your over-under is 45.5. We will get to predictions, but I kind of want to attack this in a little bit of a different way than just talking about the season. We've talked about both of these teams ad nauseum throughout the course of this season.
The
Irish. So there's 2 questions for each team, and we will start here, and I'll start with Sean, and we'll go around the room that way this time. Sean, Notre Dame will lose this game if
Notre Dame will lose this game if Riley Leonard can't get the rushing part of his game going. I'm a little scared of that defensive middle, and I think if they force Riley to be one-dimensional, it changes that offense a ton. That for me would be a huge change of pace. And it forces kind of like, I was going to go with a more greater picture of like if Notre Dame kind of loses their stamp, like the stamp that they've put on every game, and like what has become Notre Dame. Like if they kind of lose that image, they're in trouble. And I think if Riley can't get the wheels moving, and Ohio State takes those away, I think that's going to get them out of that comfort zone.
All right, Matt, Notre Dame will lose if.
I know this probably sounds like an obvious thing to say, but it didn't happen in the last game. If they lose the turnover battle this time through, there is 0% chance they're winning that football game.
All right, student of the game, Notre Dame will lose if.
Matt, I agree with you. While that's a typical stat in the football game, it's accented here. That's a good point by you. Notre Dame loses if they give up more than 3 plays of 20 yards or greater.
Okay. All right, Mikey B, Notre Dame will lose if.
Notre Dame will lose if the running game doesn't get established early, and that does not just include Riley Leonard. I think it involves the running backs to take some of the pressure off of Leonard to get his run game going. No, I don't expect the home run play in the first drive, but a couple of 5 or 6 yard runs to start drives to give 2nd and 4s and keeping the field to keep them out of the 3rd and long. I think that could be a key for Notre Dame. If they can't do that, we saw they hit the explosive plays against Penn State, but I don't know that it can happen 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame loses if they try to get into a shootout. They don't have that ability. I mean, they can get a big play here or there, but that's not what the marker of victory is for the 24-25 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's just
I think that is a cousin of what I'm saying, Jim. I'm with you.
Yeah. No, I agree. Mike, I'll start with you. We'll go the other direction this time. Ohio State will lose if.
They will lose if the Notre Dame defense is able to shut down the number 1 and number 2 receiving options for Ohio State. Because if you can make them a one-dimensional team where they have to run the ball to stay in a football game, I think Notre Dame's defense will be able to contain that, and I think that's going to be the key.
Student of the game, Ohio State will lose if.
Ohio State will lose if to start the 4th quarter, the game is within less than a touchdown.
The Michigan defense.
Correct.
Matt, Ohio State will lose if.
We know Notre Dame can run the ball. If Notre Dame's passing attack is anything above just average, then Ohio State will lose the game.
Balanced offense. Okay.
Yeah, like that. Sean, Ohio State will lose if.
Ohio State will lose this game if they cannot stop the run. I know it kind of piggybacks off the Riley Leonard piece, but I think the running game in general, like anyone taking a ball across the line of scrimmage, if that defensive line can't stop them, Ohio State's not going to win this game.
Yeah, I think Ohio State will lose if they try to out-heart Notre Dame. Similar to a game at the end of November. If you don't kind of,
Which one's that, Jim?
I'll let you do the imagination on that one. No, but I think when you and we talked about it in a little bit in the last segment is if you aren't going to be the finesse, speed, playmaking team, maybe Lou Holtz was right a couple years ago and just got to the end of the book a little bit earlier than expected. That you're not going to out physical this team. So yeah, I think that's going to be Ohio State's problem. On the other hand, Sean, we'll start with you. We'll go same direction for this one. Notre Dame will win if.
By the way, I fully appreciate that you've set this up with asking like Notre Dame will lose, but also how Ohio State will win. That they're two different questions. So I think that's solid money. Now, Notre Dame will win if they, and it's kind of the opposite of what Matt said earlier. If Notre Dame wins the turnover battle, Notre Dame will win this football game.
All right, Matt, Notre Dame will win
if they get consistent pressure on the quarterback defensively. Notre Dame can impact that game to the point they start making mistakes and they can win.
All right, student of the game, Kyle Nash. Notre Dame will win if.
I think Matt's point is step 2. Step 1 will be they have to rush for over 200 yards. Keep the ball out of the hands of that offense first, limit the attempts, and then make those quality attempts matter on defense where they get those sacks or turnovers.
We're good. Mikey B, Notre Dame will win if.
Notre Dame will win if they complete the tackle. The explosive offense of Ohio State, those guys get through of an arm tackle, they can go. You got to wrap guys up. You got to get multiple hats on the football. Do not let them make that explosive play.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great point. All great points there. Notre Dame will win if their defense forces turnovers. In their most successful games this year, if you look back over it, their defense changed football games. If you look at their most successful games in this postseason, their defense, forced turnovers. And I know the Georgia point spread, and if you really look at how the game finished, Georgia game closer, Penn State game closer than the opening round matchup actually was. You didn't need your defense to be that unit against Indiana. You needed them against Georgia. You needed them against Penn State, and they showed up in the biggest moments. I think they'll need that again. All right, Mikey B, we'll go to you. Ohio State will win if.
Ohio State will win if Will Howard doesn't take unnecessary sacks.
Yeah. Okay.
Even throwing the ball away, even dump offs to the running backs where they only gain a yard or two. He's known to try to hold the football to try to hit the home run to the explosive wide receivers.
Yeah.
The Notre Dame defensive ends have played very well in the playoffs. I think that's the thing here. Take the yardage where you can get it. You ain't going to hit the home run every time. Sometimes a single will be just as good as hitting the home run.
All right, student of the game, Ohio State will win if.
By the way, further accenting my point, Mike, about Notre Dame running the ball and keeping the ball out of Will Howard's hands. If they do that, that'll make him edgy to make the mistake you're talking about. I like how you enunciated that. For me, Ohio State wins if they go into the fourth quarter up by 11 or more.
Okay. Matt, Ohio State will win
if they take Notre Dame as an opponent seriously. I think their hiccups this year have been when they just kind of went in knowing they're the better team, knowing they have the more talent, and they didn't have to prepare for it. Like Kyle likes to bring up, the Northern Illinois game for Notre Dame. If you overlook your opponent, you see what happens. And I think Ohio State has a tendency of knowing the amount of talent they have on that roster and just assuming that they're going to go in and dominate. And if they don't do that, I think they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I still think one of the greatest stories that ever be told, if Notre Dame can find a way to win this game, is to find out what Northern Illinois coach told Marcus Freeman was how he knew he could beat them, because that's got to be a wild a bunch of words there. But Sean, Ohio State will win if.
Ohio State will win if speed prevails. If the speed on the outside of that offense can get behind defensive backs, and if they can do it quick enough that the sacks don't even show themselves, if that speed gets into the defensive backfield and starts breaking off huge chunks, Notre Dame's going to have a real hard time, and that's the easiest recipe for Ohio State to win.
Yeah, I think in similar ways, and it brings up PTSD. I can feel my hands sweating a little bit just even conjuring it up. Is Ohio State wins if they take Notre Dame out of their game. In Notre Dame's previous college football playoff appearances, in Notre Dame's previous BCS national championship appearance, their opponents took them out of their game immediately, and Notre Dame could never recover from it. So if Ohio State can do that to Notre Dame, that's a recipe. Because even in a game where you're down 10-0, you're down 10-3, the message was, don't panic, don't change what we do. If Ohio State can get you to change what we do, that's going to be a problem.
Right. A fast 20 points changes that pretty quick.
Sure does. Does. So we've seen that.
We don't want that.
We do not want that. We've been there. We don't need that. We don't want that. But let's now go to the actual predictions. Again, 8-point favorite for Ohio State. 45.5 is your over under. Mikey B, I will start again with you. What happens Monday night in Atlanta?
Monday night in Atlanta will be a fun one. It'll be one that I will have my phone on the Jim Big James niece text message thread, because I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like at points in that game, I had to talk him off the ledge.
You did. You did.
You know, and
I was not in a good spot.
You were not. I know that. And
well played, Kyle.
He
that
would
sound
show
you heard
up
was
right
Ernest crashing through the wall.
Yep.
So what I will say here, especially after the turnover where Jim said, "This is it. Fuck this. Fuck football. Fuck everything else," and I told him, one stop for the rest of your life. And it happened, and it worked. And I'm gonna parlay it. I'm gonna take the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm gonna take them plus the points. I'm gonna take the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to win the football game.
Wow.
Because of one reason and one reason only. If there's a head coach that I want coaching my team on that stage, it's fucking Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman is the difference maker in this game. Marcus Freeman
That's right.
is the reason why they win the national title on Monday night. I will also take the over.
All right, in the over. Ernest, DJ Christian, how we doing?
How are you doing? I'm good.
Good.
My kids are running me out though. Talking about, is that loud? I'm talking low too. That's a funny thing.
Yeah.
We like it that
All
way.
right,
Yeah.
we can understand.
How you doing, Sean?
Sometimes a
Good to see
battle.
you.
I was doing great.
Yeah, it's okay.
Before you continue, Ernest, my wife over here, because everybody else
God.
has walked in on my conversation.
Why
for
is
some
she
point,
annoying
including
me
my
already?
dad. She goes, "Oh, it's Van Man."
Yeah.
She
Van Man.
did say earlier, no Van Man.
There was no Van Man. Now there's
Now
a Van
it's-
Man.
You know, Kyle, fuck you.
The fuck did I do?
Which
This
for
man
us,
thinks they're coming to you. Fucking 5 years ago.
Kyle
this man
just sat
took
there.
you.
which for us, it's normally like, oh, Van Man.
Are you
But
playing
Ernest,
Enter? Are you playing
we are in
Enter
the-
Van Man in your van right now?
Don't hurt your neck.
I never knew I was going to play metal on fucking kazoo.
I did not
Here we are,
expect to hear
boys.
Metallica on a kazoo today.
Nope,
That's right.
nope.
What?
Freaking, of all the things that you could have told
Sean,
me,
meet Kyle, Sean. Here you go. Boom.
I was going to hear today, that was not one of them.
You're welcome.
Ernest,
What
we
can
are
I
in the
say except you're welcome?
We are in the midst
He's
of
in it for the money.
previewing
He's in it for the money, though. So
shut up. We are in the midst of previewing the national championship. We
I
were
know.
doing so well.
It was going
I was
smooth.
listening, I was listening to everything. Relax. I know where we're at.
All right, we got Notre Dame. We got Ohio State, who is an 8-point favorite. 45.5 is your over/under. Ernest, what happens Monday in Atlanta?
I'm trying to find reasons. I hate these fucking teams. I really do. I hate both these teams. I'm trying to find reasons to
hate
root
you
for
too.
Notre Dame.
And he had to log in just to say it.
Yeah, I'll root for Notre Dame because of Jim. But
Come
then
on, Mr. Unbiased. We're looking for analysis, not who you're rooting
I want
for.
Ohio State because of Matt. Because the Eagles win this year too. On top of that, I can have Matt and Sean have the Eagles and the fucking Irish win titles in within a month. That's not happening. Hell no.
Look, for the long path we've been on, we absolutely could have both.
I feel like I'm the least obnoxious, like, in victory fan that there is, and I don't know why EJ's like.
You would be wrong.
When have I ever like gloated about anything?
Actually trying to act like the quarterbacks going down to the fourth string had nothing to do with the Eagles' victories.
Ding, 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 ding.
Right, but I didn't like throw it in your face.
No. You know what it is, though? No, you know what it is, though? And Matt, I do love you, right? I love you, do. But it's the smugness. It's a smugness.
That's his delivery, man.
It's the delivery. I know what it is,
AJ, despite sitting on a fence and rooting for one team for Jim and another team for someone else, which side are you going to be facing at the end of the game? That's my question.
Marcus Freeman's my dude. That's why I root for the Notre Dame, because Marcus Freeman.
Good job, Irish.
He reminds me of Obama, for the record. But honestly,
what?
He does. Shut up.
Oh my
God. Anyway, you say so, dude.
Yeah, he does.
And you remind me of Mr. Woodchuck.
Anyway, no, real talk though. Look, Notre Dame has a chance to win this game. They have a really good chance, but they to me the problem is they got to play perfect football, and I just like I like Ohio State. I like Ohio State still. I mean, it just they've been you're welcome. Yeah.
Homer.
Move on to the next person now.
Ohio State in the points. And I'll take let me see what I have written here real quick. I'll take a slight over.
Perfect.
Into the game. What happens Monday in Atlanta?
First of all, the over is the bet, in my opinion.
Yes.
Slight or otherwise. Listen, for me, I got this feeling. Notre Dame's strength goes right into the strength of Ohio State's defense. That's problematic. So for me, it's, say what you will. I am 3 weeks straight picking the Irish. I am 2 weeks straight picking against the SEC. Something had to give. And now I have to go back to being called a hater for the sake of good analysis. I would rather not see Ohio State win this football game, but I think this show will be insufferable next Tuesday if Notre Dame wins it. So, no, joking aside,
might be either way.
It will be insufferable. You got to write first.
Shut the fuck up. No,
fuck off. No, for real. It'll be insufferable next week.
But no, I have Ohio State winning. I think they clear the spread. Mikey Byrne is doing Mikey Byrne things with his risky and brave pick. This is not the Lions against the Chiefs, though, in this particular instance. Yeah, I feel like Ohio State kind of has that team of destiny thing. This is the group that won the first playoff the last time the playoff format changed and all of that. This is not me dissing Marcus Freeman. I think he's done a fantastic job. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right, Matt, what happens Monday in Atlanta?
I really do think that ultimately Ohio State's talent, I've mentioned the $30 million that they've spent on that roster a few times. Eventually that money is going to have to be earned, and I think ultimately that will happen. But for the sake of myself, I can't pick against my team, so give me Notre Dame, give me the over.
Homer.
And Matt, by the way, you just choose not to.
Homer.
We have choices in life. You chose to pick Notre Dame.
I choose to support my team. Yes, that's correct.
Coming from the guy who picks all of his teams.
47 teams.
Yeah, exactly. That's a weight that he
Work
can't
smarter, not harder, Kyle.
It's smarter to support 47 teams at once?
Well,
how much is the casino paying you?
The numbers bear out, buddy.
The house always wins.
Not financially responsible.
Sean, what happens Monday night in Atlanta?
Well, I think the actual storyline is going to be somewhat similar to the Orange Bowl. I feel like Ohio State's going to come out. Notre Dame's going to get a feel, and Ohio State's going to take an early small lead. And I think it's going to be one of those things where Notre Dame's going to have to put their stamp on it, and they're going to have to keep running the ball, and they're going to have to get a feel on defense. And I think they settle in, and they win the middle 8. And I am going with Mike here. I'm going to take Notre Dame, especially with 8 points. But I'm going to take them to win outright. And I think Vegas wants you all to think the over is the obvious bet. Throughout the playoffs, I have watched 2 great defensive fronts. I think these are 2 very good secondaries. And I think, when push comes to shove and both teams settle in the second half, scoring is going to be at a premium, much like in the Texas game and even in the Penn State game. I feel both games were very similar to what we're going to see on Monday. I'm going to take a slight under, and defense prevails, which helps Notre Dame, and Notre Dame wins.
Homer,
I think
Homer.
What did you think I was going to pick, Kyle?
Hey, I'm just prompting
Give me the Buckeyes.
producer.
Like thinking about saying the words "Give me the Buckeyes" makes me want to throw up next to my
Real
chair.
talk, though, Sean.
You know,
I would do it.
the
There's a
game?
dog over here that I don't even like.
Well, I think more of it too is to understand that
kidding.
the producer might be the least tricky person to guess his pick, and I'm prompting him to remember to hit the homer button so his finger's right there when he does his pick as well. Sean. It's not all about you.
Well,
at least Matt teased the Ohio State's probably going to win, but for the sake of you went straight in and say fuck it, homer, boom.
For the record,
I did
Kyle
go
is our
sheer homer pick there. That was pretty good.
But for the record, Kyle is our unofficial soundboard. Ernest calling you a homer, that's what more I'd be pissed off about, because that guy's got 97 homes.
that is fair.
Good investment, though.
That is fair.
Sorry. I love
There's
those.
a second in the comments there.
Hey,
Mr. Needs, how you doing?
So
what's up, Mike?
yeah, the
Welcome
8
to the
points.
show.
Homer.
The 8 points, the opening line of 9.5, pretty much felt kind of disrespectful. If I'm being totally
I
honest
felt the
about
same
it.
way.
And hopefully that number was just put up on the walls in the Goog all week. I think that's
I'd have hung the number 8.
yeah,
right,
without
right in the
question.
locker room.
9.5, 9, 8, 8.5. When you look at the ESPN predictor, I know I went over this on the show with some of the matchups last week. There's Ohio State at 54.5. Yeah, this is going to be Notre Dame's biggest challenge of the year, without question. Especially the way Ohio State has played over the last month. I don't think there's any question that it's going to be a challenge given the 16 starters who have been hurt this year and guys who are still hurt, and you're a mash unit on your offensive line and your defensive line and your secondary, and you're playing true freshmen in the secondary that
But enough about the 49ers. Sorry.
wouldn't have seen probably wouldn't have seen the field a lot this year if Brandon Morrison played the entire year. But this is the reality. This is where we're at, and they keep finding ways to do it. I think at the very least Notre Dame covers 8. I think that is at least the target. And I think if you look at the mindset of a game that happened on November 30th, the team had a goal to be within a touchdown going into the fourth quarter. And I think Kyle brought up this similar point, talking about Notre Dame will win if you have that close margin going into the fourth quarter. And if you win the middle 8, all of these things that Notre Dame has been doing all postseason, I think is what they do. The key for Notre Dame's victory is going to be keeping the under. I agree with Sean. Control the clock. Run the ball. Be Notre Dame. Don't be anybody else. Be
200 yards rushing.
200 yards rushing, like Kyle said. Run the ball. Control the clock. Keep Jeremiah Smith and Ibuka off the field. Keep those running backs off the field. Don't let Will Howard get to you. Like when he plays, he can sling the ball. So just don't let him do it. Keep your defense spread. I'm taking the under. I'm taking Notre Dame to cover. I am obviously taking
Homer.
Notre Dame to win this game.
Homer.
There was no question that I was going to pick Notre Dame.
Oh my God, no! I'm so surprised.
Right. Oh,
What are we
no.
gonna do?
Mike,
I was
quick,
surprised. Were you guys surprised?
delete the pick you had written down for me.
I'll
Yeah,
say
don't worry, I
this
won't.
much. I'll say this much. I would rather see an Irish national title than
EJ,
the Eagles
stop
win
talking.
the Super Bowl.
Shut up.
Seriously.
Hear it.
You
Stop
took
it.
Ohio
Shut up.
State. You're done.
I don't
you
need
picked Ohio State, knock
I don't
off.
need Sean. By the way, nice shirt, Sean. And
You've
Matt
already gone over
having,
this. We get it. You don't want us to be happy. Blah blah. Shut the fuck
I
up.
rather
Next.
I don't want to see double.
Get
Kyle,
your
you
mouth
got that
shut.
popcorn? Kyle, you got that popcorn?
Where's the popcorn at?
Damn it! I forgot to pop. Oh, thank you, Jim. Go ahead. Keep going, EJ.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Shut the fuck up. We're done.
rather see fucking Irish. Good luck to you, Jim. That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
I made
Good
my
luck,
line
Bill.
in the sand and I marked my spot on the other, but I really like the other side a lot. Like I really like that.
But yeah, you don't sit on the fence at all.
Six
Imagine
green
going like
toes
that.
down.
You can't
for
imagine
EJ
going
Christian.
shopping with EJ. Like,
I mean,
I really like the green one.
Can
I'm
you,
gonna
that
go with the
sound
green one.
pretty-
I'm gonna go.
I-
But I
I-
love
I'm
the
pretty-
red one.
No, Sean, you ain't lying though. I'm pretty frustrated with that kind of shit.
And he's like putting on the
Defense-
green one. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna
believe
get both. I'm just gonna get
No,
both.
honestly, no, dude, don't lie. Picking his shirt did the same. I said, I was like,
As
it
a
was like
former
four-
salesman, you'd have been the gold
You-
mine because I'm like,
He
why don't you
rips
just get
them in
both?
half and sews them together.
the fence sitter just looks over and goes, I like
He's
that
got
shade
like
of
6
green on the grass
iPhones because he
more.
couldn't decide on the
Like I
color.
just hear like somebody in the back. We got a mark. Yeah, just that'd be easy.
Oh wait,
all
so
right.
since he picked Ohio State, does this mean he's only 4 green toes down for this football game, gentlemen?
Yes, that sounds
He has
right.
no green toes left. Jordan Love ruined all of those.